May 20, 2010, Paris, France. Just after sunrise, one of Paris's most respected museums opens its doors. But inside the galleries, something feels deeply wrong. 5 spaces on the wall are empty, and 5 famous paintings are missing. Together, those stripped of paintings worth more than $100 million. Masterpieces by Picasso, Matisse, and Modigliani have vanished without a trace. There are no alarms recorded, no broken glass, and no injured guards. Within hours, news spreads across Europe, sending shockwaves through museums, collectors, and insurance companies around the world. Days pass, then weeks. Yet the stolen paintings never appear on the market. No ransom is demanded, and no buyer comes forward. Investigators quickly realized this was not a rushed crime, but a calm and carefully planned operation. Some called it the greatest art theft of modern history. As the search deepens, a name begins to circulate through police files. Not a real name, but a nickname earned over years: Spiderman. A figure known for moving above the city rather than through it, leaving behind questions instead of evidence. But how did one man outsmart an entire museum system built to stop him? Why were the most valuable paintings never sold? Where did they go after disappearing from the walls that morning? And most importantly, how did his nickname become Spiderman? Early 2000s, Paris, France, long before the museum robbery shocked the world. Paris already knew a man who moved differently through the city. His name was Vjeran Tomic, but that name rarely appeared in headlines. He wasn't famous, and he wasn't rich. He was quiet, focused, and obsessed with climbing. As a teenager, Tomic spent hours scaling apartment buildings, balconies, and rooftops. He didn't do it for attention, but for the feeling of control high above the street. Paris became his playground, and gravity became something he learned to negotiate rather than fear. By his early 20s, that skill turned into something more dangerous. He realized that most people protect doors and windows, but very few expect someone to arrive from above. Luxury apartments were his first targets. He slipped in through open balconies, avoided confrontation, and vanished before anyone noticed. Neighbors would wake up to missing jewelry and watches, with no sign of forced entry. Police struggled to understand how these thefts were happening. There were no fingerprints, no witnesses, and no obvious break-ins. Only one pattern kept repeating. The higher the apartment, the safer the owner believed they were. Over time, officers began using a nickname to describe the unknown thief. Spiderman became his unofficial nickname. Tomic was arrested more than once, but prison never ended his career. It only sharpened it. Each release made him more patient, more selective, and more confident in his ability. He wasn't chasing chaos or fast money. He studied buildings. He watched guards, cameras, and blind spots with a calm focus preparing for something bigger. And slowly, his ambition began to change. Apartments felt small. Jewelry felt temporary. Tomic started looking at places everyone else believed were untouchable. Places protected by reputation as much as security, places like museums. But even then, no one imagined how far he was willing to go or how high he was aiming. Spring 2010, Paris, France. By 2010, Vjeran Tomic was no longer hunting easy targets. He was preparing for something that would redefine his name. For months, he quietly studied the museum, watching it like a living system. Guard routines, camera angles, quiet hours, every detail was absorbed and remembered. But Tomic was not completely alone. Behind the scenes were 2 men who completed the triangle. Julien Montagnier, a dealer who understood value and discretion, and Jonathan Byrne, a man with connections deep inside the shadowy art market. They were not climbers, they were not meant to enter the museum. Their role was planning, storage, and silence, deciding what would matter after the theft, not during it. Together, they chose the targets carefully. Not just the most famous paintings, but the ones that balanced size, value, and speed. 5 works that could be removed quickly and disappear just as fast. Inside the museum, the art wasn't protected by vaults or armed response teams. It relied on alarms, routine patrols, and the belief that no one would dare climb in from above. Tomic trained obsessively, scaling Paris buildings at night to keep his movements precise and effortless. He shared almost nothing, even with his partners. The fewer people who knew the details, the safer the plan remained. As May approached, Paris continued its normal rhythm. Tourists walked along the Seine. Cafes closed their doors. Guards followed familiar routines, unaware they were part of someone else's design. This wasn't a crime driven by desperation. It was driven by confidence. Because when the night finally came, Tomic didn't need luck. He needed only one thing: to begin. May 19, 2010, late at night. Paris grows quiet, and the museum by the Seine slips into darkness. This is the moment Tomic has been waiting for. While guards follow routine patrols inside the museum, Tomic approaches the building from a direction no one is watching. From the outside, Vjeran Tomic begins the climb. He doesn't rush. He moves hand over hand, choosing grips he already knows. Tomic reached a window positioned just beyond the normal reach of patrols. The window gives way quietly, no crash and rush of alarms. Tomic slips inside, landing in a gallery filled with shadows and priceless silence. He goes straight to the paintings, bypassing the guards on active patrol duty. Each frame is handled carefully, lifted from the wall with practiced control. Canvas comes free and frames are left behind. He rolls the paintings tightly, protecting the surface, keeping them compact enough to move without scraping walls or setting off sensors. What took decades to create now fits under his arm. Room to room, the process repeats 5 times. Each removal is quick, deliberate, and calm. When he's done, the walls look normal at a glance. Only empty frames remain, waiting to be noticed. Tomic retraces his path, carrying the rolled paintings against his body, keeping them balanced as he reaches the window again. One by one, he slips back out, climbing into the night with the city spread beneath him. By the time Paris begins to wake, he is already gone and the paintings no longer part of the museum. Hours later, guards make their rounds. Then someone stops. The alarm never sounded, and the cameras show nothing useful. 5 masterpieces are missing, and for the first time, the question isn't who did this. It's how someone walked into a major museum, carried history out under his arm, and vanished without a sound. Summer 2010. Once the museum shock fades, investigators stop staring at empty walls and start following people instead. 5 famous paintings can't disappear on their own. Someone had to store them, someone had to stay quiet, and someone always fails. Police shift their focus to the art underworld, dealers, middlemen, and collectors who understand value but fear attention. Phones are monitored and meetings are watched. Patterns begin to form. The first pressure point is Julien Montagnier. After being questioned repeatedly, he admits the truth no one wants to hear. The stolen paintings were never celebrated. They were feared. They were too famous to sell, too recognizable to move, and too dangerous to keep. Then comes Jonathan Byrne. His version confirms what police already suspect. The heist worked perfectly, but the aftermath collapsed immediately. Now, with the dealers talking, the climber and main thief becomes impossible to ignore. Police quickly arrested Vjeran Tomic. During questioning, Tomic admits the climb, the window, and the removal of the paintings. He explains how the job was done, but when investigators ask where the paintings are now, the answers stop lining up. One man blames panic, another claims destruction. None of them can prove anything. The truth fractures, and with it, the final chance to recover the art is lost. 2011. Paris, France. The trial moves quickly. The mystery does not. In court, the crime is laid out clearly. There is no doubt about who did it or how it happened. What remains uncertain is what matters most. Where are the paintings? The verdicts are final. Vjeran Tomic is sentenced to 8 years in prison for carrying out the theft. Julien Montagnier receives 6 years for storing and hiding the art. Jonathan Byrne is given 4 years for his role in handling the stolen works. The court closes the case, but the paintings never return. No collector claims them. No secret vault is discovered. No evidence proves they were destroyed. Only empty frames remain on the museum walls, silent reminders of what vanished that night. The crime is solved, the criminals are punished, and 5 masterpieces worth over $100 million are simply gone. a perfect heist, with an ending no one can finish.